to the SJ Child Show. This episode is sponsored by Water and Body Basics. Visit 3440 South, 5600 West, West Valley City, Utah. Mention SJ Childs today.
Welcome to the SJ Childs Show. I'm your host, SJ Childs, and today I have a very, very special guest, Ayanna Davis, who is here from, I'm just learning, New York. So I let DJ do the detective work and find out where we were going to be at in the world today. And, we're here in Utah, so we're so happy to have Ayanna to be able to have this conversation on this platform. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's an honor and a pleasure. And, today's topic is, of course, one that is always near and dear to my heart. And we're going to be talking about autism. And I would love you to introduce yourself and give us kind of a story of, what made you who you are and how you got here today.
I'm Ayanna, Phenomenally Autistic. I started my autism journey about 5 years ago, but I only started speaking about it I'm going to say December 2019, and I've had excellent feedback from everybody that I've encountered. I mean, you get a few ignorant people here and there, but you can't do anything. You can't do anything about that. You just have to either
just strangle. You can't do that. Whoops.
Or ignore them.
Yeah.
It's like they think they know everything.
Yeah.
But I've got really excellent feedback from people. The autism community is amazing. There's a lot of support there. Support that I never had, and that I kind of never looked for, because in the beginning I was just like, well, this is not something that I'm going to embrace. But I'm glad I decided to do it.
I'm so proud of you, and I'm glad you did too. And, it's great. I have the unique perspective of seeing it in all stages for all three of my children, as well as in my husband. And that unique perspective gives me the ability to see the beauty and see the compassion and the mind that are out of this world, and just the different way of thinking. Right. And that's what I want to advocate in the world, as autism is a different way of thinking.
Exactly. That's what I tell people. I'm like, I'm not like you. I'm wired differently. So I'm not going to understand everything you say or everything you understand unless you explain it to me in a way that my brain is wired to learn.
Yes. And I am also a huge advocate of teaching children, in which I so believe the foundation is finding that child's learning style. You can't teach all children the same. You cannot expect all children to learn in the same way from the same one teacher that gives the same information. So I really hope that someday our world can really take a look at that and rewrite and, our system, our school system, and the way we expect kids to learn. Definitely.
I agree.
How old were you when you got your diagnosis?
I'm not good with numbers and time frames. I'm trying not to ask my dad any questions. He usually helps me, but I'm not going to ask him.
Nice.
I was in my 20s. So
okay, that's perfect. That's perfect. And how do you think that now, finding out kind of with a later diagnosis, my daughter's 21 and she doesn't have an official diagnosis, but I'm certain
self-diagnosis is a diagnosis, and it does count.
And I appreciate you saying that so much, because I think a lot of times people without education don't understand that, right? And they don't have that same perspective. But luckily for us that we do, and we can share that mentality and teach the people. And so I'm so proud of you for doing your Instagram and being phenomenally autistic. Absolutely. Yes. It's such an honor to have you here. What type of struggles are you now comfortable talking about that you maybe wish you would have had some help in the past?
I would say communication. Communication is one of my biggest struggles. It's hard to because it's hard to maintain friendships, platonic or romantic, because you need communication skills for things like that to work in a way that's not a disaster. So communication is like one of my biggest struggles, but one of my biggest forms of communication is art. So it's something that I do well. So it really helps me communicate.
I love that. Do you have any with you by chance? I'm gonna
no,
that's okay. I'll get some from you and post some pictures when we do our editing and just pop them right up on the screen right there. So that will be fantastic. What type of art do you like to do?
Yeah, most of them are on my iPad.
Okay.
I like to do all sorts. I like I customize clothes and like I hand paint clothes. I do digital art. I do traditional art, like traditional paintings, and then I like to work with illustration markers. But I'm really obsessed with digital art right now. I do it every day because I do art therapy every day, and I do my art therapy on my iPad. So that's digital art. Yes. So I do a little bit of everything. I'm into like all types of art. I started in theater as a child, then went into dance, taught dance.
Wow.
So any type of art has helped me communicate better in life.
Definitely. When you were an art teacher, that's really amazing. Did you find challenges, or is it because it's so patterned that you were able to just really take a hold of it and kind of be in control?
When I was a dance teacher, I didn't have any problems. It was so easy to do, and I had like the best students. I was like 14 years old when I started. Wow. So they weren't that much younger than me. Like, because sometimes I'll see them now and I'm like, oh, that's some of my past students. And they're like, well, they're like your age. I'm like, well, I was a child dance teacher, but it was really easy. It was a way for me to express myself creatively, a way for me to communicate, a way for me to develop relationships with people and have to interact with people. Yeah. Because as a young child, if I wasn't like doing plays or whatever, I really didn't talk to anybody. I stayed to myself. I sat in a corner. I drew. People would speak to me. I wouldn't speak back. People would talk to me. I'd just ignore them. Or sometimes I would say, leave me alone. So art has helped me communicate my entire life.
That's amazing. I see that in my own children. I see that how they communicate through art as well. And I'm really going to take some advice that you didn't even know you were giving. And I'm going to apply it to my own 9-year-old child's life, because she also is going to be tested this fall. But the more and more let me back up. Just so you know, my son was diagnosed, who you got to meet, when he was 16 months old. And that was a decade ago. So I've been looking at it closely in a boy for so many years. And so there's so much, obviously, there's so much difference biologically anyways. And then you get the chemical process. So different. And now that I have this new perspective, I see it in both of my girls. Like I said, I see it in my 21-year-old and I see it in my 9-year-old. And one thing my 9-year-old loves is art. She loves to draw. Yeah. She already has a published illustrated book. Cool. Yeah, she published a book when she was 8 years old. Wow. And she just loves to draw. And so, of course, we've been, nurturing that. And I love what you said about art therapy. And I'm gonna tell her that we're gonna start doing that, because I think that is a magical, like, a key right there. That's like,
trust me, trust me, it is. You'll see a difference immediately.
Yeah, I can already feel like it will. I'm excited about it, and I know she'll be excited about it. It's so challenging to be a person growing up, right? In your youth. I mean, teenage and middle schools and high school, that's such a tough time. What type of support did you find? Did you find support in your school? I mean, like you said, doing art and things. Oh, yeah, that's what it's hard, isn't it?
Elementary school was wasn't the easiest. It was very challenging, but middle school are where the big challenges came. You know, it's where the bigger bullies came. Even some of the teachers were bullies. Ugh. So it's just like, and then you're going through puberty.
Yeah.
So your emotions are all over the place. So like being an autistic person, your emotions are always all over the place. Yes. So going through puberty, your emotions are just a disaster. So I would say middle school was the toughest for me. Once I got to high school, I we started homeschooling. So
good.
Because I couldn't deal with it. It was really more of the social demand. Yeah. It wasn't the work. I was never like put in a like special education class or anything like that. I do have delays, but I was still able to be in a regular classroom. Yeah. But it was a social demand. It was too much.
Definitely. You know, and society is so hard on that social piece, aren't they? They are unknowingly traumatizing so many people with their social demands of how society should look like in its old views, I believe. So, I do totally agree with you. And you know, since the pandemic, we also I've actually been homeschooling DJ for about 5 years now. And not because of any of those types of issues, but because he has a different type of academic, needs. He has a photographic memory. And when he was 5 years old doing algebra, they just shook their heads and said, sorry, we don't have a first grade teacher that can help you with this. Like,
wow,
tough luck, basically. So I brought him home and now he's like the quantum physics professor. So
I believe it.
Yeah,
I believe it.
Pardon me. We just let him do his own thing. And his superpower comes in numbers and, certainly in letters too, and languages. He loves languages. He studies Google.
I do
Translate.
As well.
Yes, that's amazing.
I do.
What type do you like?
Well, it's not like I have to explain something to you. Okay. Last year I went through an episode where I lost my memory, from seizures. But before that, I spoke English, obviously, Spanish. I was frequent French and ASL. So now I don't know any French at all. Spanish is very horrible. ASL is very rusty. And English is good most days, but some days I still stutter.
Yeah.
But I am very fascinated with language.
I love that. And I always tell people when I say, oh yeah, he knows 109 languages. And they're like, what? That's not possible. And I say, well, now wait. Now he can't speak English fluently. So don't get too excited because what he knows are facts, numbers.
Yeah, exactly.
The word chair, and then sometimes there's some, just literal knowing of the language. And so it's hard for people. So I love that. I love the way you can express to people that. I'm so sorry to hear about the seizures. That's horrible. How are you feeling now?
They're not like they were. So I'm grateful because like some people probably would say that I'm still not doing well, but I believe that I am. Like when you can compare like a bad situation to a horrible situation, the bad situation don't look as bad. So I think that I'm doing good and I'm grateful.
Oh, I think you're doing amazing. So I would have never known. And, isn't that so quintessential? And isn't that the truth about invisible disabilities, neurological neurodiversity, is that you don't know what's happening. You don't know by looking. You can't see it in a picture. You don't know by meeting someone. Obviously, there are severe signs of everything that are known, but we're talking about things that are really invisible and unknown. How are your career now? Are you working? What does that look like?
I'm actually putting out a children's book and a coloring book, re-releasing a coloring book because it was out 2 years ago.
Awesome.
I've actually illustrated 17 children's books and
What?
4 coloring books. So the latest one that I illustrated is called My Melanin, and the author's name is Renita Pagan. If you go on Amazon, you can get it. Just type in My Melanin, and my book will be out this fall.
That's amazing.
A regular book and an audio book. I'm not doing the voice though. I have some of the cutest, I have some of like the cutest little voices ever that are going to do it. But yes, this fall.
That is incredible. And what is that book's topic? I assume it's probably about melanin.
No, not mine. Mine isn't. The current one is. The current one is just about teaching young girls of color that they're beautiful the way they are, and that they're enough the way they are, and that they can basically do anything that's in their heart that they want to do.
Absolutely. I think that is so beautiful and inspiring and a wonderful message to share. Absolutely wonderful. I completely agree with a lot of that. And we didn't, talk very much before we met. And so we really don't know much about each other, but I'm a children's book author and I have 7 published children's books.
I saw that when in the notes section when I got the email.
I saw that. We should cool. Definitely collab and put some children's books together because I actually have several more written and no illustrations. So perfect.
We can talk about that.
Yes, I love that. That's fantastic. And that is a really, really great. And it's so important now that you have a diagnosis. I mean, as an adult, are there services that you can get in your community?
So far, what I've done, I'll probably, when I'm ready, I'll probably do other things, but like new is scary. So I haven't done everything that I probably could do, but so far I've done, CBT therapy, which is, you probably know, cognitive behavioral therapy, DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy. And I might have said that wrong, but, so I've done CBT, DBT, and then I just see regular therapists and psychologists. So that's what I've done so far. I haven't done the DBT since before the pandemic, because with the DBT, a lot of it is hands-on and it does need to be in person. So when the pandemic started, some of that had to stop.
Yeah.
So that was very challenging, but I feel like for me, the therapy that helps me the most would be the CBT, because it teaches you to be mindful, which is something that someone who is autistic is not always aware that they're not being mindful. So for me, the CBT helped me the most.
I love that. I see my daughter struggling with those kinds of things in her friends and meeting, just obviously she's only 9, so she only has access to the friends and people in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
And so you have to kind of just hope for the best and hope that, they can all work out and be friends. But yeah, it's interesting to watch and to kind of try to help strategize and navigate these situations. It's very tricky. It sounds like you have a support team in your family with your dad, your dad and everything. How's that been since you've had the diagnosis?
It's really cool. But even when I was a child, before they knew what was wrong with me, but there's nothing wrong with me. But before they knew why I was, before they knew why I was different, he would always take me out, and just because he knew I had some energy that needed to be released, and he kept me very involved in the arts. A family member of ours, she's a painter, and she started putting me in art shows when I was 7 years old.
Wow.
So my Aunt Jerry, I love her. She wrote 30 books. But
wow.
Yeah, and she's still going, and she's 90. But she's actually my great aunt and his aunt.
Sounds like you have some great inspiration.
Yeah, Yeah. But yeah, he's there. He's at, because I see a lot of specialists and a lot of doctors
Yeah.
for like my physical health as well. So he's at every appointment. If I gotta go to the ER, he's at the ER. If I gotta stay tonight, I tell him to go home. He's not listening to me. He's staying. If I have a long hospital stay, because I've had hospital stays for I believe up to 3 months in the past, he was there every day. Even when he had to go back to work, 5 o'clock every day. I see him walking around the corner. So every step of the way, he's there. Even when I be like telling him, even when I'm like, leave me alone, I'm like,
sounds like he needs the Dad of Life Award. Not even the Dad of the Year, Dad of Life Award. We're going to give him a trophy, put it up on the screen and celebrate. Thank you, Dad. Great job. Great job. Woohoo.
She said, great job. He gave a thumbs up. He doesn't like to talk when I'm doing like interviews. Like sometimes people be like, "Oh, can Dad come say hi?" He's like, "No, this is not about me."
I don't blame him. No, I completely get it. So, and my husband, with him having autism also, I tried to encourage him to do some podcasts with me. And he's the same. He's like, nope, not gonna do it. So he just, okay, that's fine. I tell his story for him. So I have permission. That's fantastic. What are things looking like for you now? Are there any projects you're working on?
Yeah, I am. I'm doing like a few logos for some people. A few authors have reached out to me to work with me. I haven't decided who I'm gonna say yes to and because I can't do everything.
Good, Venom. So, yeah, good for you.
I'll do as many as I can, but some of them they work on a deadline, so it may just not be like the right time that we
serendipity. You got to just go with the flow on that, huh?
Yeah. I'm gonna be a part of a documentary about autism, which comes out next year.
Wonderful.
I don't even know how I was supposed to say that, but yeah, it was really cool, like to speak with the filmmaker about it, because she has an autistic son. So like she was like, you, like, I'm comfortable talking to you, like everybody. I'm not comfortable talking to everybody. But yeah, like there's always something coming in, like surprisingly.
Yeah, but I've always because you're so talented.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm so glad we got to meet, and
thank you. Same
it
here.
was so funny today. I was looking through everything, and I was just like, I don't see her on my Facebook. I don't see her on and I was like, because we had talked to each other through Phenomenally Autistic, I think, or and so, or maybe even on the podcast guest. Anyways, it was funny. I was just like, I can't find her. And then I have to send you.
I have to send you my Instagram, and I'll send you all my social media. Absolutely, I can send you my link tree because everything is there.
I love Linktree. Isn't that the best place ever?
Yeah.
I love that thing, man. And One Sheet. So if you're a podcaster, One Sheet is a great place too. You can just put everything there, your bios and all your links. It's the best. Well, that is it's so great to meet you. And like I said, I'm just honored to talk to you and celebrate you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much. And maybe why don't we get back together before the documentary comes out, and let's do another thing and promote that, and get it in front of as many listeners and
thank you.
viewers as possible. Oh, my pleasure. My favorite interviews are ones about autism, and I really, my show is about, my kind of show's motto is bringing value to families through education and resources. And I wanted to talk about autism a lot, but I also wanted to talk about other subjects. And so I had to try to, put it under an umbrella there.
Yeah.
So it's been such a pleasure, though. Is there a website or somewhere people can find your art? Is it for sale?
Well, certain things, if you want to print, you can get a print. I would say to go to my Instagram, Phenomenally Autistic. And there's a link in my bio, which can link you to everywhere else that you can find me.
Excellent. We'll make sure to have that link down in the description and up on the screen. And such a pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you.
Like I said, I honor your time and the space that we got to share. So I look forward to staying in contact with you.
Yes.
Definitely. Thanks so much. We'll talk soon.
Thank you. All right.